everybody. What's going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
I'm all right. How are you doing tonight?
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone because we got, apparently we have an alien invasion happening right now with these UFOs everywhere.
I don't think it's an alien invasion.
What do you think? I mean, it's crazy, right?
It is crazy. It's exciting.
Yeah, it was enough that we decided to just kind of talk about it because it seems like it's just kind of a thing that's like on our minds, and Quincy kind of brought it to our attention, and we were kind of looking through it, and it's the kind of stuff you can't just ignore. You know, I don't know if give me a yes in the chat as you guys come in. Let me know if you've seen what's been going on where they have been in the media talking about UFOs being shot down and just all this crazy stuff. So in fact, actually, there was something recently. I think. There's something over Alaska or something, and some almost like a flying. Was it a flying saucer?
It was a balloon from China, right?
Well, I remember the balloon from China. So the balloon wasn't
from China.
The balloon didn't bother me. I'm like, okay, it's a balloon, and I felt like the balloon was just a distraction.
Maybe the balloon could have been anything.
It could have been anything. That is true. But
when you think of balloon, you think birthday parties and happy fun times. So you just don't think balloon could be something very threatening. So that's brilliant. If it was something really threatening, like surveillance, wouldn't it be great to like camouflage it in something like a balloon? Something you're doing something really awful. You put it into a nice little happy balloon. It's just a balloon. How harmful can that be?
Yeah, let's put a nuclear bomb in a balloon and just get them to shoot it down.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, or some some dirty bomb or something. I mean, you can see it in the footage right there where they're shooting the balloon down, and it was just interesting because I'm not used to seeing media where there's that much talk of a balloon. You know, it doesn't seem like a balloon would be, like the center of attention for media. And then I think what got me really going was the other stuff. I mean, there was something shot down over Canada, something shot down, I think, over Alaska. They shut down Montana's airspace. There was Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if anybody else is kind of curious about this, but literally Trudeau was like, yeah, we shot this thing down, and it was, he gave the altitude, and basically they kind of are giving this impression that they don't know what it was, and they're not telling anybody.
You think they're really telling us the God's honest truth about what's happening in the skies now? You know,
what's interesting is, I mean, there are some people who believe, we made first contact a long time ago, and that they just haven't told anybody. And there've been like, I just, every now and then when the inner conspiracy theorist in me pops out, I would watch some of those documentaries about UFOs, and they would have countries that weren't as restrictive as the U.S., where they would have some old general from Russia who would tell, some story about some things that he saw, or maybe like some sort of a Navy pilot who saw some stuff in the 1940s or 50s, and he's now like on his deathbed, so he doesn't mind telling everybody. There are lots of stories out there like that.
Well, why would China want to spy on us? They thought it was China wanted to spy on us with a balloon. Like, they already got TikTok. They have TikTok. What else would they need to spy on us for? Like, they already know what we're doing.
But China probably owns us. I mean, China's smarter than us.
Oh, they're spying on their own land that they own.
Well, you heard about the whole situation in Montana or somewhere, South Dakota or whatever, where they wanted to buy.
Montana don't play that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they wanted to buy, the Chinese wanted to buy some, I think they wanted to build like a wind farm or something, or like milk cows or something, like right near a military base. I forgot what it was, but they were buying a bunch of land right near a military base. And fortunately, some of the government officials were smart enough to say, hell to the no, like, you can't own, land like this close to one of our military bases.
And that's something. I mean, don't mess with Montana. We've been watching Yellowstone. And if Montana is really like the show Yellowstone, which in my head I think it really is, like, I don't think these are fictional characters.
That's funny.
The Dutton family is like real to me. They really exist there.
See, boys and girls, media does make a difference in stereotypes. But yeah, I think isn't Montana's slogan "Live Free or Die" or something like that? Or is that another state? I can't remember which one.
It'll be those states over there in the West. Like, it's so interesting. I really do recommend people, if you want to know the mentality of white people in America, take a look at the Yellowstone series, and also take a look at what is it, the numbers 1883 and 1925 or whatever, like those numbers by Taylor Sheldon, I think that's his name. Anybody has Paramount Plus, and they are not paying us to plug them, but it's really great though to like watch, just to kind of get into the headspace and the mentality of people who were there, because we spent some time there. Remember, we went to the parks, the national parks there. I did a half marathon. I did a couple of half marathons there. And so you kind of get into like the psyche of the Rangers.
Yeah, I played poker in Montana.
That was it was a very intense, it was a very intense moment. Tell them about the poker.
Oh, they got mad at me because I took everybody's money. Because I'm a very good poker player. You know.
I was so proud of you.
Yeah. I don't talk about it much, but I'm a pretty good poker player, and I'm also I'm almost an airplane pilot, and which made me think about like when they talked about altitude of these UFOs. And they were talking. You know, Quincy was asking me like, you know, is that an altitude you'd fly at? And I was like, no, 40,000, 30,000 feet. That's like for the major airliners. Like I fly today when I was flying, I think we were doing our maneuvers at like 3,000 feet. And if I got to 3,900, he'd be like, don't go above 4,000.
See, this is really great. Like for me to be a marathon runner, I just weave it into every conversation. Oh yeah, like when I ran the marathon in Washington State, I bring it up and everything. So this is beautiful. You have an opportunity to just bring up the fact that you're a pilot and just casually bring it up, and you're just proud of yourself. Bring it up in every conversation.
It's hard work. It's hard work.
It's very hard work.
us pilots get out here and we
aviation
work hard every day. Us aviators. Yeah. So anyway, by the way, guys, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, and
we're not on our pillow.
And we're not on our pillow. We decided to get all fancy with our podcast a little bit and kind of lay some stuff out for you. I hope that you guys like it. Let us know how you feel about it. Also, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, if you want to learn more about Dr. Alicia and what she does, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's her website. She's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, and she sees couples and clients on a regular basis. So feel free to go to coachingwithdralicia.com. Okay, so let's get back to the aliens. All right, so these UFOs.
You think it's aliens?
I think, well, right now they're UFOs, and a lot of people forget that a UFO is not necessarily an alien.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to know that, right? So, unidentified flying objects. Justin Trudeau, put out a tweet, and maybe we could put that on the screen. But there's a tweet from the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau where he's explaining what he shot down, and that he worked with this group that people don't talk much about called NORAD, which I think stands for the North American. I think it has to do with North American Air Defense or something like that. And they basically, he says, I ordered the takedown of an unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace. NORAD command shot down the object over the Yukon. Canadian U.S. aircraft were scrambled, and a U.S. F-22 successfully fired at the object. So basically, Justin Trudeau is saying that there was this thing shot down, and he says also...
When was this? Was this today? This happened today.
Well, the date's right there, babe. It's 3:55 p.m. at February 11th.
So this was today. Yeah. There was an unidentified object over Canada, and it was shot down.
Yeah. And that's the second one, right? There was another one. Was it Alaska?
In Montana.
Was it? I know Montana, I don't think they shot it down. I think that they shut down the airspace in Montana. There was another one that the U.S. government shot down. That was, I believe, over Alaska. So I think that there was like 2 official shoot downs. Then that's after the balloon, after they shot down the balloon. So they've been shooting stuff down. They've been shooting stuff down like crazy.
What's going on? So in the past couple of days, we're shooting things down from the sky that we don't even recognize. And see, I don't really think that this is like otherworldly. I think it's here because think about it. If it's from another place out there, if it comes to us, how do we have the technology to shoot it down? Seems like it would be like they would be made of material that would be so advanced that our little fighter pilots wouldn't even be able to penetrate, maybe I've watched too much Star Trek.
Yeah, I
It just
think
seemed like it
be
so. Advanced technology.
Yeah,
there.
I think you have because because there's no reason to assume that we couldn't be the advanced civilization. You know,
Well,
like look at what happened when the Europeans,
Uh-huh.
met the Native Americans. The Native Americans, I'm sure, felt like they had some pretty advanced stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, if anybody came up on the shore, we just shoot them with arrows or whatever, right? But they had guns, right? So you don't know who's going to win. I think that's the scary thing is that it's impossible to believe that there are not aliens out there. Like anybody who's ever studied, give me a guess in the chat if you've ever taken the time to really process how big the solar system is, how big the galaxy is, and how big the universe is. I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling that just the Milky Way galaxy alone has hundreds of billions. Of stars that are the size of the sun and bigger. And then you've got these galaxy clusters that are like hundreds of billions of galaxies. And then you got super clusters that are hundreds of billions of clusters of galaxies. I mean, it's insane, right? So it would be just silly to even think that we're the only species out here. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I don't think that because what I said was I don't think what we're seeing right now is otherworldly. I didn't say that it's not possible that there are otherworldly things there. I think that if it comes to us, I don't know it would come to us in the form of a balloon or a little sphere in the sky. I think it would be a little more dramatic. Or it could be because I spent some time looking at conspiracy theories and things like that. I spent time listening to that, and it could be, maybe there's like a shadow government that's secretly meeting with extraterrestrials to get us acclimated or get us used to the idea. Because think about all of the movies and TV shows out there and Star Trek and Star Wars and all of this possibility of something else being out there. Maybe it's conditioning our minds to kind of like get on board with the fact that this is quite possible. I mean, it's just been a rash of television shows and movies about this to kind of prepare us. So some of the thinking was that it's preparing us for what's going to happen in 2023. And didn't you talk about there was someone who predicted this, right?
Yeah. So now I'm trying to remember. I think this was when they shot the balloon down, right? Yeah, there we go. There's the balloon getting shot down. And it's kind of
a mighty balloon if it traveled from China. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
What's that debris coming off the balloon? Like that's the thing I'm curious about.
What the heck is that? That could be like
that could be some toxic
that could be
gas
something
or something
really terrible.
Yeah. But I think
they should let the people around them know when we're shooting something down and we don't know what it is.
Well, I think that's part of the reason they shot it. I know some of it. I think I read somewhere they shot it down over water. So it's not like it went into like on somebody's house.
Could this be chemical warfare?
Well, chemical
warfare. Is this the beginning of World War III, should I say?
Well, chemical warfare is coming, and remember this, in every war in history that I've ever read about, there's always been some scary weapon that people had never heard of, that they learned about during the war, Like, we were watching Yellowstone, and it was 1923, and lady was writing a letter. It wasn't Yellowstone, it was 1923, and she was writing some letter saying, I heard that they have these big tanks with, square wheels, or not square wheels, but, whatever, right? Like she was describing tanks and even airplanes, like this idea of using airplanes in war, right? And then in World War II, you're talking about like fighter jets and the nuclear bombs, right? So World War III is going to have some set of weapons that scares the shit out of everyone.
Well, the thing is, I mean, what history has shown us is that most of the advances in technology comes during wartime, because that's a great time to garnish support for it, and money to fund these projects are usually funded during wartime efforts.
Well, people pretty much surrender to the government when they're scared. That's why COVID was so dangerous, because during the pandemic, they said, oh, we're at war with this virus, so give us all your money and give us all your support for any crazy thing we want to do. And they
stay inside.
They went and they spent, trillions of dollars that we don't even have They used it to line the pockets of pharmaceutical companies. They pushed out these experimental, chemicals they were forcing everybody to take. And they kind of did it in a way where they didn't properly even consider the implications of their choices. So now you're going to have aftermath. You're going to either have aftermath where you finally figure out, okay, was that thing that we made everybody take, was it healthy or not? Well, if it's not healthy, they're never going to give anybody recourse. It's going to say, oh, well, tough luck. It'll be like Agent Orange, whatever, right? And then the other thing is they have right now with the economy being kind of messed up with inflation. Well, the inflation came because they were irresponsibly spending money during the pandemic. They were pumping so much money into the economy. Now you've got an inflation
Well, they felt
problem.
like they had to, I guess. But a lot of people profited off of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Well,
a lot of companies did very well.
War is always profitable for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There's always somebody that makes money. Henry Ford made a ton of wealth during World War II. That's why the industrialists, they love war. They love war because they can get a blank check from the government to just, manufacture stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a mess. So I don't know. I mean, could this be the start of World War III? I mean, there are a lot of interesting things happening between the U.S. and China. And speaking of that, you talk about just this whole thing with the aliens. Did you know that there was an old psychic from not Hungary, I can't remember, Romania or somewhere?
Yeah, I was telling you about it
Baba
being
Vanga.
Yeah, you were telling me, and I'm reminding you that there was a prediction that this was going to happen from this lady.
Yeah. So this lady, Baba Vanga, somebody sent me her predictions, and I kid you not, they sent me her predictions for 2023, like right before New Year of the end of 2022. So this wasn't like I got it this week. I got it like December, right? And one of the things that this lady predicted, she was this blind psychic. I want to say she's from Romania or Hungary or something. I want to make sure I mention the right country, but I can't remember. But anyway, so Baba Vanga was really, really well known for being able to predict the future. And she predicted like all the way out to the end of the world. Like she made predictions all the way out to like the year 5000, like stuff about artificial intelligence, discovery of other planets, just all kinds of things. And one thing that they said that she predicted was that aliens would invade the Earth in 2023. She literally made that prediction. And she also predicted some stuff with solar flares in 2023. And you mentioned there was a solar flare.
There was a huge solar flare. It was unprecedented. So by the way, I follow this so closely. I do listen to Richard Hoagland, The Other Side of Midnight. I love Richard Hoagland is just one of the people. He became really famous in the black community because he did a whole piece on Barack Obama, the interdimensional physics of Barack Obama. He was a science what is that when you're on CBS and you're like the science advisor for a certain news channel? I guess you know news like that better than me, but he was the science advisor for CBS, and he was there when the moon landing and all of that. And so he's almost like a whistleblower because he talked about, very interesting, he talked about some of what he experienced when covering the moon landing on news and how they censored him. He was censored from saying exactly what he saw. But what was really unique for him is that he's a physicist and he understands hyperdimensional physics and stuff like that. So anyway, so I was listening to his show today, actually tonight, and he said it was unprecedented, a vortex on the polar region of the sun. And they said, what did he say, Quincy? It went around in a circle at
60 miles per second.
60 miles per second. It was something that had never been done before. And this was at the same time of the earthquake in Turkey, in Syria. So he was saying that we really need to pay attention to solar flares because it's so related to things that are happening on Earth. And that the solar flares, they really predicted it could make strange things happen on Earth in terms of like earthquakes and hurricanes and things like that. So we need to pay attention to that. But anyway, Richard Hoagland he's my guy. He's my guy.
Well,
he's the person I trust when it comes to this sort of thing.
Well, it is interesting that it happened right during that earthquake in Hungary, where 28,000 people have been killed, which is terrible. And it's interesting. I'd be curious to know what might be going on. But by the way, guys, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And we created this podcast because we figured that it would be fun to have some intelligent conversations between two black people who love each other very much, who are also scholarly inclined. So we believe in intelligent black people. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind everybody that if you want to see episodes or listen to episodes of this podcast on Spotify and some other places, just look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. And you can also follow Dr. Alicia at coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. Or you can go to my website, boycewatkins.com. Boycewatkins.com. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And you can take a look at that in my website too. Okay, so let's talk about this.
Wait, let's talk about the fact that we coordinated our outfits today.
I know, right?
What made you put? Because I had my shirt on first. What made you put this one on? Yours is kind of mustard looking, and I'm a little vibrant.
Yeah, you know
What's up with that?
It's the connectivity of the interdimensional hyperspace spiritual realm that caused us to come together in the three-dimensional reality in which we live, in which we both wear in yellow.
All right, my brother.
Looking like a couple of bananas. But yeah, so I kind of feel like maybe this is much ado about nothing, right? Like maybe this is maybe
Much
this is
ado
just
about
a
nothing.
bunch of hype, right? And that's how I felt when I first saw the conversation about UFOs. It's like, yeah, whatever. But it's not that often that the government is going out of their way to talk about shooting down UFOs. And so on one hand, it could be that it's something significant. Or on the other hand, it could be a weapon of mass distraction, right?
Could
like
be.
if I'm trying to get past, if I'm trying to pass a bill that I know the American public is going to be outraged about, then, if you create something that catches the imagination of the public, that's going to take all the headlines. For example, if you remember when Rudy Giuliani, right before 9/11, Rudy Giuliani was in the headlines for something really terrible, something involving another woman and blah, 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 blah. And then 9/11 happened, and then suddenly he became like this national hero because 9/11 became the big talking point, and that took him totally off the headlines. There's another big story like that just got wiped off.
Always.
Yeah, so I kind of wonder if this could be going on here. Like I'm just kind of like, okay, where's this going? So it could be a weapon of mass distraction, which would make more sense to me. Or it could be, making much ado about nothing, right? I didn't understand why we were spending so much time talking about spy balloons. Or that last possibility is this could be some real stuff, like literally where they're shooting down UFOs in the sky on a regular basis because aliens really are here, which is not, again, that sounds crazy to even say, but again, it's not inconceivable. I mean, how in the hell do we think we live in this big old universe and we're here by ourselves? That is not even possible.
Yeah, or it could be all of the above, Boyce. I mean, it could be.
Okay.
Maybe we need to show this alien thing. It's a real alien invasion, but we need to try to. We have to take this and make it an opportunity. Or it could just be a test. It could be a test. Let's shoot these things down and let's see how the public responds to it.
Yeah,
it could be just. I mean, because we're like lab rats to the powers that be. Let's just see what are they going to do? Are we going to totally freak out? Are we going to be okay with it? It could just be a test to see, are we ready?
I can see that, right? But I'm not a person that gets carried away with conspiracy theories. I need to see evidence of things, right? So when I hear stories about like, oh, there's really a shadow government that's really working with the aliens to control it, I need evidence. I need to see something like this is evidence to me. An announcement that today we went and shot down this thing up in the air. We don't know what it is. And we shot another one down over here. Like that hits me a little harder than the conspiracies because there's so many of them. And people just they pull stuff out of their butt. They make stuff up. And then people run with it and they build on to crap. So you got crap on top of crap to the crap power. And then it becomes this big, crappy, weird story. And as a scholar, I cannot buy into that. I need to see something that kind of just makes sense to me. So
yeah, I agree with you. And that's the reason why I like Richard Hoagland is because he's a scientist. So when he writes and he speaks, he's speaking to other scientists. So it just feels good listening to him because he has a model. He has taken the evidence, he's built a model, and he's just like, let's see if the data fits the model. And so he's always collecting. He's on show. He's doing a podcast right now, and he's pulling together the data. And he said, here's the data, and look, darn, it's fitting right into my model that I've already come up with. it's fitting into it. So he knows how, in his books, by the way, you can get his books. He has a ton of books. It is very hard to get through his books because he is writing them for hard scientists. Like it'll take you, I doubt it'll take you more years to get through his book, but it's so interesting. You have to read it really slow. But he's writing for scientists. He's using the data, and so that's the reason why I like him, because I agree with you. I don't like these weird conspiracy theories. Although I like to look at it, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But he piques my interest more than anybody because he appeals to my conscious mind. It has to make sense to me. You have to appeal to that first before I even digest what you have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is Dr. Alicia Watkins. You're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. How many of you think that this is real? And let's do a real or fake. Type real or fake in the chat. How many of you think that this UFO thing is real, that these are really UFOs? How many of you think it's fake, that it's just, a bunch of nonsense and it's not? They shot down, I don't know, a pack of flying roaches or something in the sky, and because I'm gonna tell you, I think, okay, I see real.
Did China actually say we did this?
No, I don't think they did.
So how do we know that it came from them?
That we don't know.
The first one they said is, oops, it got away from us. That's a mighty balloon.
Marquita says real. Captain Jackson says fake. Thanks for Trump. He says real. Alex Morales says fake. Greatness to work says real. Ken Trey says real and questionable too. Epic Eric says real. Cameron Kelly says very real. Warren Jones very real. Dylan real. So we get a lot of reals. A lot of people think it's real. Now Antoinette says, was COVID real?
COVID was real, probably. I mean,
Shock J says faker than a $3 bill.
Fake.
Have they ever had $3? They have $2 bills. The $3 bill, I guess.
No, that would be a fake bill.
That would be very fake.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn fake. That's fake. That's fake as hell. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to tell you. I think that it is interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see how it evolves. I'm going to be ready to fight some aliens if they come into the house.
Oh, jeez.
And, you got to.
Really? You think you can beat it? So there's a being with such advanced technology.
Stop assuming. No, stop assuming that they're more advanced than us.
Well,
you don't give us any credit.
Can I admit,
maybe we're the advanced.
Can I talk about
society.
it?
No, but we could be the
advanced.
Can
I talk about why?
Why would they be? Okay.
This is where listening. Okay, so the reason why, if we were invaded by aliens, they would have to have more advanced technology because they're coming to us.
Because they got here and we didn't get to their house.
Yeah, if they were coming to us, then they had the ability to come to us. They would have had the advancement in technology.
How the hell are UFOs capable of interplanetary travel but lose to an F-15?
Yeah, so that's why I don't think I think it's an unidentified object, of course, but I don't know if it's an outer this world sort of thing, because they would have to have great advances in technology. And by the way, I don't think that our encounter with aliens would be kind.
You don't think so?
I think it would be.
Try to eat us?
I think it would be pretty tragic. I don't think they would be nice to us at all. I kind of think it would be probably the end of us. Could potentially be the end. I don't have like, we come in peace, or come in peace. Well, come into my home and learn about me. I just don't know. I just don't get the impression that it would be a friendly encounter.
Well, think about it like this, right? If we went to another planet and we found alien, and we were the visitors, would we be trying to get there and kill everybody?
Well, isn't that what history has told us? Like, it's almost like when white settlers came here, were they really thinking, oh, let's be kind to these Native Americans?
Well, you're talking about Europeans. That's an exception, right?
Okay.
But I mean, like, just as humans, as Earthlings. Like, if we went to Mars, or not Mars,
you think,
like, let's say we went to, like,
Mars. Suppose Mars had Mars had all the gold and platinum and resources and all that stuff that they need. Do you think we'd come there and be like, just give me your stuff? I'm about to take your stuff from you.
Well, you
right?
know what it would come down to? It comes down, it's just like politics. It comes down to whether or not you're humanizing the other party, right? Like if you see aliens and you see them as a bunch of animals, and then you don't feel like animals have feelings. Like we'll slaughter animals and we don't care.
We'll just eat them up.
Right.
They can fry us up.
But think about it. Why do we not slaughter dogs? Because dogs, they're not human, but we connect with dogs. Like a puppy will look at you and he'll follow you around and be loyal to you. So you're like, oh, he's almost like a person. So I can't kill him. But that pig, I'm gonna chop him up and I'm gonna eat him. Or that chicken, the chicken. But what if chickens could talk? What if chickens were cute?
Well, maybe they do talk in their own language.
No, but what if they talked in our language? But that's what I mean, though. Like, what if there was something about chickens that humanized them? Like, what if chickens were like introduced to us as very loyal pets who understood? Like, if you give a chicken a command and he did what you told him, or let's say he could babysit your kids, or you know what I mean, whatever, right? Like, if a chicken was more human, then we wouldn't want to kill chickens. We would feel bad about killing chickens, right?
Okay.
So my point is to say that if an alien civilization connected with us, let's say they came here and they look at us and they're like, we don't understand what these people are saying, they're not like us, then yeah, I can see that. I can see them saying, because you can kill something where you don't empathize with it. And who knows if they even would have emotions. Maybe they wouldn't even have emotions. They'd be like, oh, no, we need water and you got water in your body, so we're going to suck the water out of your body. And
it could be. That's what we need. Yeah. Or, I really recommend, now, other than Richard Hoagland, I do recommend that you read some of the books by Sitchin. His name is Zachariah Sitchin. You know about him?
I know about him, but I'm not going to read his books.
Oh, it's amazing.
I read books about finance and stuff.
Okay, he's another expert. I like reading what expert people say.
Absolutely.
He has a unique ability to interpret like languages. So he's a linguistic person, and I shade to him because he died very tragically. But I was into a lot of his work, and he was able to translate a lot of that, and he wrote a book called The Ninth Planet. He wrote an entire series, and it wasn't based on what he thought. He was just translating these ancient texts or whatever, and he had the unique ability to do so. But it was kind of controversial anyway. But he talked.
Is that him?
Yes, that's him, Zachariah Sitchin. Yes. So he
looks like Colonel Sanders.
He does look.
Do y'all think he looks like the guy who makes KFC chicken?
Let me tell you, if y'all want,
I ain't trying to be no hater or nothing.
If y'all want to stay up all night, and get no sleep tonight, go on YouTube and Google Sitchin, his interviews, and when he talks about.
How do you spell his name?
I can't remember. Don't ask me to spell nothing. Don't ask me to spell nothing. I can't spell anything. I used to be a really good speller. Sitchen. Sitchin.
I'm going to call him Colonel Sanders.
Okay, Colonel Sanders. Okay, you must be from Kentucky.
That's the
you
Colonel.
Must see chicken and everything. So anyway, he would be really interesting to get into because he had this unique ability, and he was able to talk about it and translate all these texts in a very brilliant way. He has a series of books, and he does believe that they're coming back.
What, aliens?
He thinks that they were here before, and that they're making the ninth planet. I guess it's like this other. We have another planet in our solar system, and it's coming back. And he said they're coming back, and they're not going to be as nice as you think they would be. But anyway,
really?
He has a really good, I like scientists and experts who tackle all of these strange sort of theories, but it just makes sense to me. So I do tend to grab it. I spend a lot of time by myself I think in my 30s, I think I spent a whole decade, Boyce, just by myself reading books in my head.
Raising kids.
Raising children. But I don't know if the kids knew, I was just all into stuff. I'm kind of I'm one of those people. I love crystals. I love all that stuff. I did a lot of, I love consuming information. It's just something that's just really fascinating me. But anyway, that's another thing. And then another thing was this theory. If you get into Richard Hoagland, he talks about Mars. And so what he says is that what you looking on your phone?
I'm looking for
what I'm saying.
I'm listening to you. I'm just looking for more. I was looking for some stuff related to what we're talking
calling
about.
you out now. Okay. So, but anyway, I guess I'll talk to you all. Okay. So the idea was that Mars was inhabited. Mars was inhabited by us. And when I say us, I really do think it's like black people. Mm-hmm. Because that's what got Richard Hoagland. Now you get me started. That's what got Richard Hoagland. Another thing that got Richard Hoagland pretty famous was that he noticed a face on Mars, and he got pictures because NASA took pictures of Mars, and he pulled the picture out and said, "Look, this is a face." And if you read his first book, he talked about the face on Mars, and he said it looks just like ancient Egypt pictures. It looked just like a face of ancient Egypt, pharaohs and stuff like that. And he found, and there's some ideas that he found like pyramids and stuff like that, things that mimic ancient Egypt. And we all know it's black, and he won't say it. I really do think that maybe based on what all these people are saying, that, yeah, Mars was inhabited. And the reason why Mars got wiped out was that there was a meteor that hit Mars. And that's why we have the belt. What is it called? The what belt? What's the belt? The what?
The asteroid belt?
Asteroid belt. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But that's why we have
Gucci belt?
The Gucci belt is going around now right by Mars because there was a collision. But anyway, so that's enough information to get people like going. It's really fascinating to me. I could talk about this all day.
Well, do you want to hear more Baba Vanga predictions?
Okay, go ahead. Run it down.
Well, here's the thing. Baba Vanga, the lady who they claim predicted that in 2023 aliens would come to Earth. Remember, she's not perfect, though, because she also predicted World War III in 2010. And she said it was going to end in 2014 and that they would use nuclear weapons and then chemical weapons. And as a result of the fallout, the Northern Hemisphere would not have any animals or vegetation, and that Muslims will wage war against chemical surviving Europeans. And he said 2014, most people would suffer skin cancer and other skin diseases. 2016, Europe is almost lonely, empty. 2018, New China becomes a world power. Developing countries in turn operated from exploiters. 2023, a little bit of change in the Earth's orbit. 2025, Europe still little settled. So she's predicted. Here's the thing.
So none of her predictions came true.
Well, that's the thing. When I'm looking at this particular list, it doesn't look like it.
She's like 0 for 10 now.
Right, but I did see something in 2022 where they did say something about her predicting aliens in 2023. Right. So again,
so why should we believe that if nothing else she said is true?
Right.
See, this is why I like to look at scientists. I like scientists. Like, I like people who make predictions like this. Like, I'm not against it, but it has to have some. It's got to hold up for me. Yeah.
So so let's not. I don't think this means ET is coming to our house yet. I think that there is a lot to think about. There's a lot that we're gonna figure out over time. Time reveals all mysteries, and but at the same time, I think it's interesting just to see how the government's kind of dealing with this, and so I'll be kind of watching the news to see how it develops.
Well, I'm sure the news is just letting us know what they want us to know. I mean, I'm sure the government is releasing, very well-crafted information, and we know there's classified documents and things that we don't know, and I don't even know if there's probably controls higher than the president, right? We would think that, right? So they're busy.
Yeah,
they're busy right now.
Very busy, very busy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of busy, I know you guys are busy, so I appreciate you all hanging out with us. And tomorrow we're actually going to do another pillow talk. We're going to talk a little bit about Idris Elba, and there was a whole debate about Idris Elba and him saying he didn't want to be a black actor, and I think there's just like a general conversation about blackness. Like you had people debating whether or not Patrick Mahomes was black enough. He's playing in the Super Bowl tomorrow, and so maybe tomorrow that'd be a fun conversation to kind of talk about just this discussion. Is it better or worse when people start disavowing their blackness or disconnecting? Not disavowing. He made it clear that he's still a black man, but he said, I don't want to be a black actor anymore. And it's like, why and what is wrong with that? What's good about that and what's bad about that? And I think with Idris, maybe we'll pull Idris up on the screen. But
you can't say one thing and then turn around and say something total opposite of that. Like, come on, Idris.
Well,
Anyway.
you know, I don't know. Pull Idris up, Quincy. Let's see if Idris is still a black. Y'all give me a yes or no in the chat. Does this tell me if this black man fits the description, or if this man fits the description of a black actor, or if you think he's like, I don't know, like Brad Pitt or somebody. Anyway, so Idris was talking about that. He was talking about, wait, there he is right there. I don't know. He looks like a black guy to me. I don't know what do y'all think? He looks pretty black to me.
You know, he's saying he's transcending race.
Okay.
That's what they want to do now. It's, you know what, California and Hollywood, they're just in a whole nother world from the rest of us.
Well, let me just say this. You know, Idris.
They're on a whole nother planet.
Well, let me say I got nothing against Idris. You know, he was in. He's in a lot of good movies. He's a great actor. I follow him on Instagram. Him and his lovely wife. And
his wife is gorgeous. She's a model and everything. She's got
she
all these modeling pictures. She's
beautiful
so glamorous.
black woman. Yes, she is. And I think that the question becomes, and maybe we could talk about that, more in the next Bill Talk. But the question becomes, like, when you start saying, okay, don't label me black as an actor. On one hand, okay, you're blending in. It's an assimilation move. It's a move, because in the book, How the Jews Invented Hollywood, they talk about that, their desire to assimilate and blend in without being stigmatized. But what if the word black was an asset? Like, what if, think about it, like, if you're an Academy Award-winning actor, and would you be offended if people called you an Academy Award-winning actor?
Let me tell
or would you say, I don't want to be stigmatized by my Academy Award. I just want to be an actor. No, you don't want to blend in if the adjective is a good thing. But if the adjective is a bad thing, or something that you feel limits you, or something that you're not proud of, or something that you feel that other people don't like about you, then that's when you start stripping that label. Like, no, I don't want that. Like,
boys, slow down.
What?
Let's wait until tomorrow to talk about this.
Okay.
Because you're getting me going, and we're wrapping up. But I'm just like, I don't see any white people saying, stop calling me a white actress.
Well,
like,
they don't.
But
they don't get called white actresses. They just call actresses. They're actresses, right?
But Latino actresses.
So to some extent, I can see that, right, in the sense where he's like, don't just put me in the black section, because that's what they do. They ghettoize. Like, when I was at Syracuse, they put all the black faculty in the same department, and they were like, that's the black department. Oh, you're doing black stuff? Oh yeah, you should be in the black department. So they didn't want them sort of integrated with what they were doing. But ultimately,
why do we need to be integrated in what they were doing?
Right, exactly, which speaks to a more nationalist ideology to say, who really needs white people anyway? Like, why do you work so hard why do you feel that blending in with white people is just such a wonderful thing that's just going to make your life better?
Oh, so this is like integration 2.0.
Yeah.
This is like a resurgence of integration, and now it's gonna look like this in 2023 now, because all these actors are on the same page. It's almost like somebody sat down with these black actors in Hollywood and was like, "Look, you have got to remove yourself from calling yourself a black actress in order to make it actor."
Yeah, now my friends in Hollywood do tell me that they don't want to be labeled as a black actor or black actress, because, well, and then what that does is that means you're living under a type of imperialism where your fundamental assumption is that you will not have opportunities unless white people adopt you, like you are some sort of a fucking puppy.
Absolutely.
Like if you, like, they have to adopt you and want you for you to be successful, and if they don't want you, then you will not be successful, which is something that I just fundamentally disagree with.
Yes.
I do not think that we need, I don't know, y'all tell me what y'all think in the chat, but I don't think we need white people in order to be successful. And no disrespect to white people.
But in Hollywood, you need white people to be successful.
If you're in Hollywood, but go down to Tyler Perry Studios and see how much you need white people to be successful down there.
Yeah, but
shout out to Tyler.
They don't.
You might have to go put on a Medea dress and be in the Tyler Perry movie, right?
Yeah,
but Idris has been a Tyler Perry movie.
But Tyler Perry isn't getting an Oscar. Has he gotten one?
Who cares about an Oscar anyway?
But they do. Clearly they do. Of course, we don't really care. But of course, this is a rhetorical question. So they really care. They really want this Oscar. They want to be up there. They want to be the crossover first, whatever. And yeah.
Yeah. I think that we just got to really think about that in terms of whether or not you even want to operate in a space where your blackness is tolerated
Oh.
as opposed to appreciate it. Right. And I think that's kind of, because the assimilation, if you look throughout history, assimilation has never worked for any group.
Oh, assimilation is the biggest issue with mental health issues right now. Comes from trying to assimilate with somebody.
Yeah, well, they did that to the Native Americans. They were like, we're gonna beat the Indian out of you. We want you to just be an American.
Yes.
You're not an Indian. You're just an American. What's wrong with being an Indian? Nothing. Ain't no wrong with being an Indian. Ain't no wrong with being a black man, black actor. I'm a black scholar. I want y'all to know I'm not just a scholar. You're not gonna limit me. I'm a black scholar. So that's a bonus point.
You black and you proud scholar.
Hell yeah.
I'm a black therapist. I'm a black social worker.
Oh.
I'm a black college professor.
And you a black wife and a black woman.
I'm a black wife, and you're a black husband, and you're a black father. I'm a black father. I'm a black mother, not a father, but yeah. And we proud.
And Quincy is a young black man.
A young black man.
All right, so say it loud in the chat. If you black and you proud, say it loud. So no.
They gonna say they black and they proud.
So we should make it clear though. There's no disrespect to Idris. We like Idris, but maybe Idris, man. If you're watching, you need to give us a phone call.
Well, you know what?
Talk you through some of this.
I don't know. I kind of you're saying no disrespect to Idris, but you know what? He made his living on his first major role as a drug dealer.
Oh, Stringer Bell.
Stringer
From The
Bell.
Wire.
Stringer Bell from The Wire.
And he did a good job too.
He did an excellent job, of course. Excellent job. But that's how he made his mark with HBO and doing that show. So I don't know, what impact could that have had on us, that type of show, The Wire?
Well, I mean, it's an honest story, but it's a story that's kind of told a little too much. Because, like when I was in Louisville and I sat with 3 black airplane pilots from UPS.
Thank you.
Their stories never get told.
Never get told.
They always they got a million stories about the dope dealer, but no stories about the engineer or the CEO or the college professor or the airplane pilot, and I think that's the problem that you have is.
And in this story needs to be told by us, not by the people who are on the good nigga list. He got the good nigga sticker. It has to be, it has to be sanctioned by us and not given to us.
Okay, go ahead, radical black lady.
Oh, stop.
I like you. You're very
I've
sexy.
been this way, by the way.
You're very sexy when you're pro-black. I love that. With your high yellow
I'm always
butt.
pro-black.
Well, those high yellow people be overcompensating.
They do be overcompensating. But it's so weird. It's so weird because I walk around all day and I don't look at myself at all. I don't look at myself. So I don't know. I'm just looking at everybody around me. It's
grew up in Gary.
I grew up in Gary, Indiana.
Your black card can never be revoked if you grew up in Gary. Shout out to
weird
Gary,
to me.
Indiana.
It's just weird to me. People are like, you're black. I'm like, what else can I be? It's just strange.
Well, that's got to be frustrating too when you have black people that are fair skinned that are very pro black, and then everybody questions your blackness because you don't have the same level of melanin. I think that's very
well. I will say
strange.
my experience and my skin color gave me a different experience than somebody who was darker than me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because colorism is a thing. I'm not one of those people I don't believe in colorism. I know it's real.
Light skin privilege.
I know for sure it's real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So, all right. So this was fun. So it's almost like we had part of the Idris conversation already, but we can still do it. I think it'll be a lot of fun because I think
there's more to untangle.
And who knows? Maybe we could talk a little bit about a little bit before the Super Bowl or something. Maybe.
Oh, it's gonna for sure bleed into the Super Bowl stuff.
Heck yeah.
How could it not?
All right, guys. So thank you all for watching. It was great to see you. This is Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. If you could hit the thumbs up button on your way out, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. She sees clients and families and couples on a regular basis. So if you are interested in what she does and like to be a part of that, just visit her website. It's on the screen. Also, my website is boycewatkins.com. Now, I have a series of books called Black American Money Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. You can feel free to go to drboycebooks.com if you'd like to take advantage of that series and learn a little bit more about economics. So you can go to my website, boycewatkins.com, where I did a recent presentation that a lot of people like called How to Make Money Without Working. So that's my thing. Finance is my thing. My wife is a therapist, and together that's our superpower. So God bless you guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us. It was real. We look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. And thank you also to Quincy for being our dope producer in the background, our little Kanye West, getting it done.
Wait, don't you dare.
I'm calling him Young Kanye, because Young Kanye was a creative guy. He was a producer. He's very talented, right? So there we go. Right. Young Yeezy, but we're gonna keep him on the straight and narrow.
Keep him Kanye West. Don't keep him Ye.
Keep him. Well, yeah. We'll talk about that another day. But anyway, all right. Well, you guys have a good night. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Take